We have a packed show for you today. We have a totally live interview with Tesslyn Bergin, who after answering all of my questions said,
"This is too long."
But first, which actor do you think was picked to play Joe Exotic in the upcoming scripted show on CBS? When you hear who it is, you're probably going to go, huh, pretty good. Nicolas Cage. And before we get started, a super wonderful thank you to all the art educators out there who are helping students create with what they have at home. You know, it takes a lot of creativity and effort to do what you do. And from here in the studio to everyone at the National Art Education Association, we all appreciate you so much for impacting so many lives. Thank you so much. So there's a camera out there that weighs 24,000 pounds and has taken over 1.5 million photos. Any guesses? How about a hint? It may weigh 24,000 pounds, but it's weightless. Yes, Hubble. For over 30 years, Hubble has been doing 15 rotations around the Earth every single day, shooting constantly. It was first conceived in the 70s to get away from the blurring effect of our atmosphere by putting the camera in orbit. In 1990, it was launched, had a little hiccup, was fixed, and has blown away expectations. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh. And now for a totally live interview with Tesslyn Bergin. Tesslyn is the creator, writer, and illustrator of Facing the Sun, a beautifully rendered emotional comic about pain, love, and all the complexities that intertwine the two. It's set in a future that Tesslyn doesn't hope for, but can imagine, and we'll dig deeper into the comic in a minute. But first off, Tesslyn, I noticed you have some illustrations of plants in the future. Are you more of a pet person or a plant person?
I am a plant person. I grew up with a lot of pets, a frankly unbelievable amount of pets, and now I love plants.
So no pets at all for you?
Wait, I have a cat that I love, but it's mostly plants, hundreds of plants.
How long was Facing the Sun brewing in your mind? You know, was it something you just jumped right into, or did you do a lot of planning?
I have a great visual for this. This was the amount of preliminary work that I did before I started with the thumbnails. This is all character writing, minor storyboarding, world building, a lot of world building.
You know, when I was reading Facing the Sun, you know, there's a lot of trauma, pain, but then you also capture so many different forms of love. And you know, when I think of pain as kind of simple. It's clean, it's precise, it's understandable. But am I off on this? You know, is love more complex?
Well, I'm going to take a counter stance here and say that pain is the thing that makes love complicated. So love, in all of its different forms, is generally care, compassion, and support, I would say. Like those three things. Pain is the thing that severely complicates love and your ability to feel it and interpret it, your behaviors, your reactions, your internal dialogue, your external dialogue. That is all, in my opinion, dictated by like the level of pain that you're in, whether you want to like acknowledge that it's pain or not, because the first step of recovery is acknowledging that you're in pain at all. That's what makes love complicated. Like if you're in tremendous amounts of physical and emotional pain, you might have a hard time interpreting your environment and your situations in a healthy way, which really complicates your ability to express love and emotion in general in a healthy way. So I guess I would say that, yeah, pain is the more complicated, and love is, you know, love is love.
Well, I think I need to re-listen to that response a couple more times and think about life a little bit. But you know, since I'm asking for thoughts and advice, any advice for artists out there as they're dealing and managing getting critiqued online?
If you know you get criticism, you should internalize it for a little while and run it through the rock tumbler of your brain. Figure out like what at the core, what is this criticism saying, and if it comes out and you're like, oh well, this is, you know, pretty, and I understand, and I can use my empathy to understand, you know, what this criticism is saying, or if I messed up, if I should have done something a different way, if, you know, this is something that I can utilize actually. If it goes through your brain rock tumbler and comes out like a piece of coal, or just, you can look at it and be like, what? No, this is garbage, and you get rid of it. and you don't internalize that part. Just be empathetic and have introspection, and you should be fine navigating criticism.
I think of making an indie comic that it must be a lovely process, but also maybe a little chaotic at times. What is your favorite part, but also the part that you think is like the most necessary?
I am very lucky that what I feel is the most necessary and my favorite part is thumbnailing. Preliminary work. I thumbnail everything. This is like 500 pages. Some of these scenes that I drew, I'm really excited for, but then I realized it's gonna be like a year before I actually get to draw this. But you're excited to get to that point. You're excited for people to see the thing that you made 2 years ago, and it'll keep you on track. It'll keep you on track. You won't derail yourself if you know where you're going. Very important in my opinion.
I saw these extra pages you put in, and do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
No. They're expensive.
True.
That's a lot of Chinese takeout that I can get instead of getting this Christmas sweater I'm gonna wear 2 times a year.
And since we're celebrating teachers this week, do you have any teachers that have impacted you?
I had a visual arts teacher named Miss Maxon, a set design teacher named Mr. Kolick, and a creative writing teacher named Miss Striff. If somehow any of those people found this video, thank you. I learned a lot of discipline and creative drive from these people, and I am eternally grateful for what they taught me. I was kind of a weird kid, so I am glad that I was tolerated enough for some teachers to understand that I was kind of a driven person and that I wanted to do a certain thing, and some of those teachers just kind of let me do Mr. LaValle too. Hi, if you're watching this. But I had teachers that kind of just let me do my own thing because I was a driven kid even back then, and I appreciate those teachers that allowed me to do that because it did probably turn me into the person that I am now, which allows me to do what I'm doing. So,
Tesslyn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Again, Tesslyn Bergin is creator, writer, and illustrator of Facing the Sun. You can find her work on Webtoons, support her on Patreon, and find her on Twitter and Instagram. And I don't have to go very far today. If you'd like a chance to win a poster, please tell me your favorite comic in a comment. And please comment on one of my social media pages. If you put it somewhere else, I may not see it. And if you know an artist or a creative person that you think I should chat with, give me a shout. The wall is orange.